All right, hi, everybody, on this Sunday afternoon, the 25th of January, as we are tracking now, the rain starting to exit out of our viewing area. And this weekend's kind of gone in stages, right? We've gone from wintry and wet on Saturday to wintry overnight to wet today. And now the bitter cold air that settles in through tonight and through tomorrow. Some of the coldest air of the season so far settles in by tomorrow morning. And when I say bitter cold, I mean that. We're looking at wind chill values extremely cold around here. So I hope this live stream finds you safe, sound, and very warm on this Sunday. I know there's still a lot of folks without power. And I know the crews are out there working as hard as they can and having to brave the elements of the rain and now increasing wind out there. So hats off to those crews who are working very hard to restore the power. But again, if you look around the region, it could have been a lot worse. You look at Oxford, Mississippi, for example. You look at it around Atlanta, especially now northeastern Atlanta, up towards Athens, up towards Greenville, South Carolina. A lot worse there, even toward Nashville, a lot worse. Where we were with that warm air coming in, 1 or 2 degrees made all the difference. So yes, our higher elevated spots did get the worst brunt of that, but it could have been a lot worse if temperatures had not warmed. But thankfully, as we mentioned in our updates from late Saturday night, even early this morning, that projected rise overnight did occur. And that really helped alleviate a lot of the problems and even got the higher elevations out of that freeze by early this morning. So now we're dealing with the drop in temperature yet again. So let's show you the headlines here, which you can see on the screen, but I'll point these things out for you. We're going to have the gusty wind coming in from the northwest around 20 to 25 throughout the nighttime hours. There'll be some higher gusts at higher elevations. And again, if there's been some limbs that were weakened or broken because of the ice, it may again cause that to fall. So do be aware of that. Also very soft soil. So that could cause trees to fall again as well. It is going to be much colder overnight as that cold air comes in. I don't anticipate what's happening at the rain refreezing on power lines. They'll tend to dry in the wind. And the wind will do a lot to dry a lot of surfaces, but not every surface. You're going to have a lot of runoff. You're going to have those stubborn puddles that you see on roadways that don't go away. So tomorrow morning, rule of thumb, if it looks wet, it's not. It's more than likely ice. So please keep that in mind for your morning commute time. And it's just going to stay cold for the next couple of days. The dangerous wind chill, I think they're going to reach the lowest point Monday morning, down below zero. And I'll show you some of the totals coming up. The coldest morning with the actual cold temperature will be Tuesday morning, several spots in the single digits, others right around 10 degrees. So now's the time to make sure you check on your friends, family, make sure they're staying warm, especially if you got any family members or friends that are without power and you're thinking it may be a longer time for them. So make sure they got an alternate way of staying warm or invite them over to stay warm. As always, bring your pets inside. It's going to be too cold for them, and protect those pipes. Keep them wrapped, run that drip, especially for the next 2 nights coming up. And really, most of this week, we're going to see temperatures way, way below freezing and below average for this time of year. All right, so let's take a look at the temperatures out there, and I'll get to some of the comments you have coming up. I see some rather lengthy comments here. Let's see. Hello, Candace. Mick, we're watching. Good friend. Hello, Wanda from Dunlap. Traveling from Dunlap to Chattanooga Tuesday morning. Wanda, I think by Tuesday morning, most areas dry, but watch for patchy areas of ice. It'll be very cold then, but I think any ice will be mainly patchy. Okay, but just be aware of that and travel safely. Hey, Kay from Jasper. Jeff, thank you for your kind words. Renee, I talked about that, about the power lines tonight. I really think the wind will dry a lot of those. So, when you have ice accretion on power lines, that's when you have lighter wind and that precip falling. No other precip will be falling. There may be some flurries around that won't add to that problem, but I think for the most part, there'll be the wind will dry a lot of those power lines. The only other power issues you'll have is if another tree falls because of the wind that's been loosened by the ice or by the soft soil. That's what can take other power out. Let's see. Hello, Neil. Let's see. Can you tell me what the weather? Neil, for this upcoming week, all temperatures are going to stay below average. Hello, Brandy. I appreciate you watching anyway, Brandy. Thanks for taking time to watch. Hello, Denise. Hello, Missy from Murphy. Oh, Mary, Catherine, good to hear you got power back on signal. That's good to hear. Those crews are working hard out there. Hello, Billy. Yeah, Brianna, yes, black ice threat area wide, and it's going to depend upon where those poorly drained areas are. Not every road is going to be covered in ice, but where there's going to be poorly drained areas, and a lot of us know our own roads around our house that tend to be like that. But you got to keep in mind if you're driving tomorrow morning or through the overnight hours, what looks wet is more than likely going to be icy. So please keep that in mind. All right, let's take a look at the temperatures out there right now. They're not too bad out there right now. This is actually the warmest they're going to be for a while, but look at the airflow where you still got that wedge of cold that's coming in right here. This is what kept all of northeast Georgia worse with the ice overnight this morning, and it still is doing so. Temperatures there below freezing. We're right in between where we've had a southerly breeze kick in. And where that front is, now we're seeing the northwesterly wind kick in. Well, there you go. I don't know why it wants to do that. I want to show you the northwesterly wind. There we go. And that's bringing in the very, very cold air. So we're kind of right in between at the moment where we got temperatures in the 40s with that south wind. That's our friend right now. It got us above freezing, helped melt a lot of the ice, but now here comes that northwesterly wind and temperatures are going to drop like a rock. So if you expand the view here a bit, notice again, we talked all week about that warm nose. That warm nose coming in. That would be the thing that would affect our weather and keep us from seeing as much ice as we could have. And there it is. So it did come to pass. Temperatures did rise overnight. I had some folks comment on my feed last night that said, your temperatures aren't going to rise overnight. It always gets colder at night. And yes, it typically does. But when you have a strong south wind like that, it brings temperatures up. So I had to convince a few folks, but it did, and it got us above freezing. But now here comes this, and this is going to be bitterly, bitterly cold. And temperatures tomorrow afternoon will mimic what you see right here in the 20s and teens tomorrow morning. And there's that wedge of cold that kept, again, the ice is still encased there from, say, Athens, Clemson, Greenville, even up toward near Charlotte because of that wedge of cold air coming in. Amazing. Okay, rainfall over the past 24 hours, we've seen quite a bit, inch and a half to 2. We've had a couple of flood advisories at times. You know, they've averaged inch and a half to around 2 to over 2 inches. So your rain gauge may have had a little bit less. Your rain gauge may have had a little bit more. But if your rain gauge is full, empty it. I don't want the water to freeze in it. It'll break some of those plastic gauges. Okay. Some of you have the tip type of rain gauge. It doesn't need emptying. But you can see the rain is starting to get on out pretty quickly. Okay. The back edge of it now is across the city. We'll still have a little bit of sprinkles left over. The freezing rain continues. Gainesville, Georgia, up toward, say, Clayton, into that area where that wedge of cold air holds on. But everybody else, the rain's starting to end. All the areas now east of I-75, rain is sneaking out, and it's going to be drier. Yeah, there could be some flurries overnight. I'm not too worried about impact from that. And typically when that happens, where I'm pointing is where you're going to see the better chance of anything accumulating. The Cherry-Hill Skyway, Great Smoky Mountains, that's a better chance of the overnight hours. Again, we saw the rain pretty quickly over the past hour, so it's kind of dramatically moved out. As the main cold front rolls on by and that low moves by to the south, it'll push it out even faster. So let's talk about the chill. All right. So now we've gotten the rain out of here. Over the next hour, we go through around, say, 11 o'clock. Temperatures will be dropping fairly rapidly below freezing. There will be a wind with it, wind gusts 20 to 25 at times. It will allow for some drying. However, it won't dry everything. And that's what we're worried about, your sidewalk, poorly drained area, a puddle freezing over for driving. So be aware of that. Temperatures in the teens by, say, 11 o'clock, and then by morning, when they drop even more. Here's where some of those snow showers could occur. There'll be flurries around. Typically, when the wind blows that strong, you can blow flurries way down to the south. You might see a few of that, but I'm not expecting any major problems as far as any accumulation from that. But there you go, that's the better chance. But look at these temperatures by morning. Just before sunrise, low to mid-teens, upper teens to around 20 elsewhere. And then throughout the day, Monday, we get some clearing, but everybody's going to be below freezing. So we're going to go through an extended period, probably get 36 hours. And for some higher elevations, longer than that, below freezing straight. And that brings up the pipe issue, okay? So this is around 3:30 Monday, staying mainly in the 20s, barely near 30 to the south. And the coldest morning, it won't be as windy Tuesday morning, but the actual air temperature, look at that, single digits, it's right around 10. That's one of the coldest mornings of the season so far. But notice back here by Tuesday morning, there's that beautiful southerly wind. And that will get temperatures not warm, but high enough where it will be a little bit above freezing. So that may be our first time back above freezing is Tuesday afternoon. It'll be brief as temperatures once again late Tuesday night, early Wednesday drop back into the teens area wide. It is still mainly dry while this cold air is around, and that's a good thing. Last thing you need is more moisture coming in. I know for snow lovers you want that, but for right now, at the moment, things look pretty calm coming up. Here's the ugly part. There's that wind chill. Look at that. That's that wind chill by tomorrow morning. Single digits for some, near zero, others in the negative category. Try to limit your time outside. If you don't have to be outside, just don't. A lot of schools are out, so for good reason. So just stay inside. And again, check on your friends and neighbors that you know may have lost power. Be sure that they're staying warm with conditions like this. Throughout the afternoon Monday, there's the wind chill then, stay mainly in the teens throughout that time. That's scary cold. That's a cold we don't like. And unfortunately, it's going to stick around for quite a while. I want to show you the 7-day real quickly. And I've got us alert. I've had us alert for Tuesday for the past couple of days because of how cold it's going to be that morning. Watch for black ice early Monday. The temperature's going to stay bitterly cold. We'll get above freezing then. Each afternoon does get above freezing a bit, but notice how as soon as we climb, we go back down the 30s and stay in the teens, reinforcing shots of cold air through next weekend. For now, any systems look to stay south of us. Could that change? Well, yeah, in the long range. And I've stressed that so often with our long range forecast. Anytime we talk about that, I always say things can and will change. And people like to ridicule that, but that's the way weather is. And when you look at computer modeling and whatnot, it's never going to be a 100% reality of what actually happens, but just gives you guidance of things to watch for. And that's what you have to do. And that's what I've been painstakingly watching over the past week and trying to provide you updates in a timely manner and trying to get you as updated as quick as possible. So it's been a long week, but that's what we're here for. That's what we do. And yeah, people yell at you for being a meteorologist, but it's part of the game. I've done it for over 35 years, heard it all. It's not going to stop me. But there you have it. Most of the rain's starting to move out now, and our big problem again is going to be the colder air incoming. And I'll show you where we stand right now, where we're right in between a nice little wedge of warm air over us before the chill really starts building in later on tonight. That's as current as of 4:15 this afternoon. Let me see some of the comments here. Red says, wow indeed. Thank you, Lynn. Hello, Red. Kaylee, I don't know about, it depends on your school. If you go to newschannel9.com in the weather section, click on that tab, you'll see closings. There are some schools that have canceled through Tuesday, but not all, but you need to check that list, okay? I can't control that. Many people ask me to try and do that, but I can't control that. Like I can't control the weather either. Ron, thanks for watching. Flintstone. Jaretta, Etowah, same thing. What I just mentioned for everybody, it applies to Etowah too. Hello, Bob from Charleston. Hey, Jane from Crandall. Thank you, Tina. Margaret asked, how many faucets do I let drip? Margaret, basically, I'll tell you what I do at my house, okay? I basically go to all the faucets, leave a slight little drip going, especially the ones that are farthest from the incoming source of the house, just so I know I'm relieving any pressure there. And I try to keep the cabinets open so it's getting some heat, right there. So if you know of any like north side of your house that may get a little bit colder than others, make sure any faucets are near that area run a drip. But anything to relieve the pressure if there's any sort of freezing going on, and that tends to help. I've noticed that. I've been very fortunate, and hopefully that'll be the case this time. Although, like you, I'm nervous about this, and hopefully nothing happens. Hello, Tim. Hello, Kathy Chastain. How are you? Calvin, same thing. Road to Catoosa, just like everybody else. It's going to be patchy if there is any black ice, but just watch very carefully. Again, the rule of thumb, if it looks wet, it's probably ice. Okay. Thank you, Betty. Thank you, Robin. Laura, trying to go to work in Athens tomorrow. Again, same thing. Laura, just be very cautious of patchy black ice around. It's going to be very, very cold. So you just have to watch where you're going. Okay, just you drive with caution. Let's see. Rick, good advice. Everybody, he says for Monday morning, just go slower, be careful. Great advice. Hello, Beverly. Wanda from Benton, hello. Hello, Randy in Rossville. Hardy says, need some more pet pictures. Can do. I'm going to, because I want to make sure everybody brings their pets inside. I'm going to tell you why. There's, for some reason, when I get home, I can hear in the distance, and I can't tell where it's coming from. There's a dog barking way off in the distance. And it's on a cold night, and I wish that dog could be inside. I don't know where it is, but I keep hearing it. It's someone's house way off, and I just wish that person would bring that pet inside. It just reminds me. That's why I keep posting, bring your pets inside. It's heartbreaking when it's cold like that and people leave their pets outside. Anyway, Hardy, I will have more pet pictures coming up, but don't forget your pets, folks. Bring them inside. Give them a warm place to stay. Hello, Jerry from Rocky Face. All right, folks. So once again, here are the headlines before we sign off on this update. I'll have full update coming up on News Channel at 6. We got all of our crews in the field. They're going to show you what happened this morning with all the power outages around and how things stand on the mountaintops and getting us ready for this big chill. But there you go. Much colder overnight with the wind. Watch for black ice Monday morning and just bundle up in layers. Protect yourself from the wind and the wind chill. Keep the kids inside. They don't need to be outside in dangerous conditions like that. That wind chill, I've got that word there for a reason. Dangerous. It's going to be the single digits for some below zero. And the coldest morning air temperature will be Tuesday morning and really just staying colder than average for the next several days. But I appreciate those of you for watching this afternoon. Again, join us tonight at 6 o'clock. We'll have other updates, of course, late tonight as well as we watch this cold air start to come in. But you're going to notice that wind picking up again and temperatures dropping like a rock this evening. All right, everybody. Stay safe. Stay warm. Take care.